Hello, my name is Bryson. Today, we're going to be starting a mural. We're going to be working on this mural for about 2.5 weeks-ish, and it's going to be a big surprise for this person's room. Currently, Lily is grabbing tape and some other materials from downstairs. So yes, I'm going to be doing this with Lily. We need to get started on this. So we are first going to spackle the walls and then prime them, sand it, and then get started with some actual colors on the walls. So see you then. Before we throw color on these walls, we've got to make sure the surface is smooth and ready. Spackle fills in the holes, sanding makes it even, and primer helps the paint stick and pop. This step is absolutely essential to ensuring the colors laid on top don't peel or crack off of the wall later. Basically, this step is like wiping the table off before you set it for dinner. We are also taping off all of our edges so that the paint only stays on the wall. Then, when we're done painting, the trim is going to have a really clean transition between the mural and the rest of the room. Overall, prepping is a very straightforward concept. There isn't much you can mess up in this stage. You can also see that Lily and I have the window open for ventilation, which is honestly kind of crazy for it being December in Wyoming. Normally, this time of year, it's about 10 to 25 degrees outside, in Fahrenheit of course, but lucky for us, it's about 60 degrees. Or unlucky for us. Who knows how long until the world turns into a hot, desolate space rock. We are now reaching the point of no return. Color. Say goodbye to that ugly beige mom wall and say hello to these even uglier stripes of color. To the average person, it probably looks like we're really f***ing up this person's room. But this is actually going to make our lives easier in the future. Have you ever tried to cover a whole surface with color and for some reason there are still small specks of white showing through? Well, this step replaces those white specks with the colors we have chosen. These colors will be a lot less noticeable if they do show through because human eyes will optically blend the colors together. This little pan around is how we are leaving the walls for day one. It looks a little scary, but this will all be covered in no time. I'd be pretty surprised if you could guess what this mural is going to be based on these colors alone. So let me give you a little context. As much as I'd like to say that this mural came to Lily and I under happy circumstances, it just isn't true. In May of 2025, Julie Fitzsimmons was in Sheridan, Wyoming, traveling with her husband from Australia to see their daughter and son-in-law. While crossing a street downtown, Julie was struck by a reckless driver, and the incident ultimately took her life. This was major news for the small town of Sheridan, Wyoming, and sent a shockwave through the community. But the people it shocked and hurt most were her family. Kate Gladden, a podcaster, inspirational speaker, author, and life coach, was Julie's daughter, and unfortunately for her, this was not the first time her family had experienced this. Just 12.5 years earlier, Kate's sister had her life tragically stolen while riding a motorcycle in Thailand. Because of her sister's death in 2012, Kate chose her career path of inspiration and overcoming grief. If we fast forward to August of 2025, her husband Nate reached out to Lily and I, pitching a 2-wall mural that would be in Kate's office. Kate grew up in Australia, Botany Bay to be exact, with her backyard being about 20 feet away from the water. The bay was what Nate wanted the setting of this mural to be. He also wanted this mural to be a way for Kate to remember home and the people she has lost. This project was no longer a pretty addition to an office. It became an artistic expression of remembrance for the people that we love most. This story is extremely heartbreaking, but that made Lily and I want to make this mural as special and as perfect as we could. Due to Nate's excellent planning, Kate thought we were house sitting and watching the dogs for the holidays, but we were actually transforming her home office into an unforgettable gift. I think it's about time that I have Lily jump on here and explain her thoughts and process while creating this.
I am so glad we were able to bring a little piece of Australia back to Wyoming for Kate, so that way she can always be reminded of those who she lost, and it can serve as a reminder that they're still there in spirit. And I hope that when she looks at this mural, she can be transported back home for a moment and relive all those great memories she had with her mom and sister. Now, I'm no stranger to commission work, so I knew a little bit about the process of making a commission work like this, but it was still a really big learning curve for me because I had never worked this large in scale before. And I also don't normally work with acrylic and house paint or house painting brushes, so it was a little bit odd at first to figure out how to get started. But I started it as if it was just a normal commission portrait or something of the sort. So I first sketched up the idea on my iPad, and this is something that I normally do because it just gives you a better idea of what the composition will look like and gives you a goal to shoot for in the end. So you can see those pictures here. There is my very first sketch that doesn't have quite everything, but I just wanted to see what it would look like on their walls. And then in this second one, it's a little bit more refined, and I did some color correction to try and make it look like a sunrise. So yeah, once we made sure that Nate really liked the reference picture, we went ahead and got started. And we're just going at it layer by layer, and as you can see, I'm painting the sky right now for the third time because it took a lot of trial and error with colors because acrylic tends to dry a little bit darker than you're normally expecting. So we had to work around that, but I think it turned out really beautiful and it all worked out in the end, so that's all that matters. As you can see here, actually Bryson is painting the railing, and unfortunately we had to change the position of it to be a little bit higher so it made sense with the horizon line. So we had to paint over it again and paint the ocean for the third time, just like the sky. But you know what? Third time's a charm. So we were able to make it look really nice. Here I am doing the repetitive task of doing the little waves. And honestly, it was kind of therapeutic in the moment, so it's okay. Something really valuable that I learned during this experience was to wet the wall before you put the paint on it, and to thin out your acrylics with a lot of water when you want to glaze or do something that's transparent. So yeah, as you can see in this next couple of seconds, I put a very light blue glaze over the water, and I wouldn't have been able to do that without my handy dandy spray bottle. So if you ever need to blend transitions into the wall for some reason, water will save you. I also thought that it was really cool that I was painting the water using a lot of water. I don't know. I just like that little parallel moment. I feel very lucky to have been able to work on this mural with Bryson because I think it taught us both that collaboration is key and you can accomplish a lot with more than one person. And at first, I'll say that it was a little bit difficult to know how to divide the labor because we both know how to do art really well, but we do things a little bit differently. So it was really interesting to see how our different skills could combine and create a cohesive piece. Overall, doing this mural was a dream come true for me, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds, and I really hope that I can get another opportunity to do a mural like this with Bryson because I have learned so much and I feel very, very accomplished. Alright, I'm finally handing the mic back over to Bryson.
Thanks, Lily. Like Lily said before, it was interesting to see how our two styles came together to create one piece. I have never done this before, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a little frustrating at first. I think as artists, it is really difficult to see another way to accomplish the same thing when we normally just do it our own way for everything. Artists are also pretty much individual idea makers, so having the chance to sort of break out of that barrier really helped Lily and I become more open to collaboration and other ideas than our own. I mentioned that we had to watch our dogs back at the beginning of the video, and these dogs were crazy. But I'm not gonna lie, they definitely grew on both of us by the end. Their names are Jake and George, and most of the craziness comes from George. George is still a puppy. I think Nate told us he is about 7 months old, so that boy had a lot of energy. When I took breaks from the mural, George and I would wrestle in the living room, which became a daily ritual after the first couple of days. Jake, on the other hand, is just a sweetheart. He was really chill and only got crazy when George riled him up. Every night, they both didn't want to be alone, so they would snuggle up with us on the queen-size guest bed, which became so cramped. Also, sometimes they would come lay on top of me while I was in the recliner, which was awesome. The funniest things they would both do is after playing in the snow, they would jump on the couch and get Lily all wet. Man, I love dogs. For the railing this time, I decided to tape it off. That ensured a nice clean line and it made it faster to paint the gradient without worrying about keeping the line super straight. I think that things like this in the mural is where I shine the most. I think Lily is good at capturing organic looking objects while I am a little better at the industrial and architectural aspects. I think this separation of tasks helped us complete this mural in a cohesive way without policing what we both did the whole time. Well, I have to say, I think that this mural is starting to come to life. Right now, I'm working on the lettering for a couple of sayings that are important to Kate. For this, I used a projector and the font that I wanted to use so that my letters could be perfect. I also painted the letters in 2 layers, the first being a watery, thin layer so that I could wipe away any mistakes with a clean brush. The second layer was done with thicker paint and I didn't have to go all the way to the edge of the letters because the thin layer already does that. This step was painstakingly long, but I have to say it was worth it. The letters turned out so perfect it almost looks like they were put up with vinyl lettering. We painted the "Oh When the Saints Sang" because that's what Kate and her mom's favorite rugby team chant after winning. The second saying, "The rainbows of life follow the storm," is there because every time Kate sees a rainbow, it means that her sister and mother are watching over her. We are now in the home stretch. Everything we have worked so hard for over the past 10 days is almost complete. We finished the mural today. What do you think of it?
It looks fantastic.
Well, you can't see it until we clean up, so next clip. That is the finished mural. I have to say I'm pretty proud of what Lily and I were able to accomplish over these past 2 weeks. I think the amount of detail and the colors we were able to produce in that room were actually really effective for this mural. I think this mural ended up making this space super special, especially for Kate, and I hope that Kate ends up liking it as much as Lily and I liked creating it. Overall, this was a great opportunity for Lily and I. This was our biggest commission we've ever done. Huge thanks to Nate for trusting us with this. I know it was crazy in the beginning. Those colors were absolutely insane, but he stuck with us. He trusted us to finish this up. And I have to say, I think it turned out amazing. So the one thing you haven't seen yet is Kate's reaction to this. So here is Kate's reaction when she first got home from her flight at 12 a.m.
Like a child. What are you doing?
You told me you have a present for me here.
Well, where's the present? Now you have to walk around the house and find it.
Well, I already have these two.
Yeah, they're not presents.
Am I warmer if I go this way?
Probably.
Is it in the bedroom? You got a new rug. Is that it?
No. You get a new rug. It's not your Christmas present.
Where did that come from?
That's from your office, actually.
Okay. Oh, oh my god. Lily did this? And Bryson? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's incredible. Oh. Hey, baby. Thank you. Oh, is that cute? That is the rainbows. Oh my goodness. I love it. Thank you. Oh my god.